billy carts, make billy carts, because we didn't have any toys, and no dolls, no toys. We'd make our own billy carts and ride from the end of Glebe Street right down to the bottom of Blacksman Road there, and have fun with billy carts. I went to the Methodist Sunday School in Church Street and the church in Church Street Ride, which was opposite St Anne's. And after Sunday school, we would always visit the Home from Incurables and go and sing to them hymns, and they'd wait for us, some of them in their wheelchairs, and they used to look forward to us every Sunday to come and see them and sing hymns. That's what I remember around our way, and playing. And out from our area, we went down our yard and we came out into Hatton Street. And opposite our...
Just tell me exactly where you lived.
We lived second from the corner of Hatton Street, second house. There were mills on the corner.
So you were in Hatton Street?
We were in Glebe Street, which was part of Victoria Road. Yeah, but our yard came right down and came out into Hatton Street, and opposite was a blacksmith shop, and down further was the council chambers where they had these big sandstone wheels. We can remember they used to sharpen up all their tools and things in Hatton Street, that was. And that Baptist Ebenezer Church was there forever. That's opposite the park, the Ride Park. So
was your house rented or owned?
Rented. They mostly, people's homes were rented. Most people in the Depression lost their homes because of, it was a big depression, really. And so you didn't get food from anyone. There was no one to give you food. So you were without food most of the time in the Depression. And if you were lucky to have some bread to go to school, I can still smell the cases smell on the sandwiches, and you just had jam on it, no butter, or golden syrup. But you came home from school and your mother was always there. The home life was fantastic because your mother was there. It didn't matter how busy. And you had some fresh bread, this must have been later, and you had dripping. You'd buy the white dripping and pepper and salt on it, and we'd have that, and it was the most beautiful
bread. You didn't have the dripping? It wasn't dripping left over?
No, because you didn't have the money to have roasts, so you'd buy dripping. And
from the butcher? Or?
Your butcher, yeah. So we just came home to that, and you can't remember any other food, but I mean later on...
Not much fruit?
Fruit. Well, you had fruit. Yes, you pinched it really, but we did have. Most people had fruit trees in the yard, and so you had a bit. But our father, you'd buy seed and keep seed from year after year, and he had a vegetable garden, so we most probably survived with some vegetables. And I still have his rhubarb plants, which now it's gone through. The family keep having so they'd be over 50 years or more than that old.
Your father unemployed during this period?
Yes. He worked for the T&G insurance, and then he became unemployed. And
do you remember how many years he was unemployed for?
Oh, quite some years. And then they would give them odd days that they worked on the roads.
Relief.
Very hard relief. They don't know. I'm too young to remember that, but he was very political. And at Ryde, we used to, the politics, to preach the politics to the people. They would stand on the corners of the shopping centre, and you'd go up there and they'd speak from their heart. No.
Your dad?
No, well, Dad did, yes. They wanted him to stand in
What
Ryde.
party? Tell us.
Labour.
Labour.
Labour. Very strong. They came from the country, his brothers, and they were... And you can remember some children at school, you knew that their fathers had their jobs still at because they were dressed, extra special, and the teachers liked them extra specially. People with toys or anything, because we had such a great outdoor life of playing and doing all those sort of things that we weren't a bit envious of anything. Even at Christmas time, you wouldn't get much. If you got a pair of jazz garters wherever they came, I don't know who'd give them jazz garters. They went round the socks, so pretty elastic garters with frill of ribbon on them.
Oh, right.
And if you got a pair of those for Christmas, and a few, just I can remember in our school stocking, we'd have them washed, ready for Christmas Eve, and been singing all the Christmas songs at school, and Mum would hang them up. I can still see them hung up along the mantel shelf, all of our socks. And in it was for Christmas morning you would have, a plum and an apricot and some that fruit that you didn't get, and perhaps, as I say, you got a pair of jazz garters. My eldest brother, he was unemployed, and he'd be unemployed. We started work at 14, so he was unemployed because I think there was a big place down at Meadowbank Station. Oh, what did they make there? They made trains or something down there.
The Meadowbank Manufacturing Works.
Yes, it was a big... But he got a scholarship to go to Des Moines High School from Ryde, and we thought that was fantastic. But he couldn't carry on because we couldn't afford, Mum and Dad couldn't afford to let him go, and he was really clever. We all turned out to be quite smart years after, but we didn't have the opportunity.
We'll come on to that in a minute. I was going to ask you a bit more about the depression, and you said your father being on relief work.
Yeah.
Do you remember him getting food relief, getting tickets?
We didn't get food relief till we shifted to West Ryde then when I was 9, so that was 1929. So coming around, say, 10, that'd be 30. In the early 30s, we were given a voucher for groceries, because I remember my sister and I used to have to go, and we'd take our school cases with us and go to the grocers, and we were really embarrassed.
Which grocer shop did you go to?
Buttles at West Ryde. There was there was Steve Allardyce there. He went to school with us too. He worked there, and Norm, somebody or other. And we were really embarrassed at having to take in. I can remember the order: a tin of dark plum jam and a tin of melon and lemon jam, and they were all the things that we just needed. You didn't get a lot, and that was all we ever got. Oh no, you never said, oh Mum. I can never ever remember ever back entering my mother, and that is God's truth, ever.
What about your dad?
Because Dad was okay. Dad was fairly strict. We had to be home, like he'd be waiting for us, like from school, and they were home a lot then because of the depression days, except when they had this relief work. We'd get a hiding. I can't remember. Dad used to have a fruit tree switch, and it was at the table, not at the table, on a shelf, and we had to sit at the table and behave ourselves while we ate, and you didn't make any, you didn't... I don't think we were allowed to talk that much at the table then. Well, there were too many of us. Anyhow, you had to have discipline. You did do anything, you'd just get a little switch on the arm. But I can remember my sister and I, my Olga, we used to get the giggles, and I'd say, I think I'll have a glass of water, and I'd go out in the kitchenette, giggle, and then when I went in, she'd go out and have her turn, because the discipline at the table was like that,
Now at the table...
my mother, I must tell you, my mother used to be quite a good sewer. She was never taught, but she was a wonderful sewer. She earned her eyes sitting up at night at the machine sewing for us, and she always had us in a night. We always had good clothes at that stage, not good clothes. We had good clothes, for Sunday school. So we'd go with that, and so you just took your frock off when you came home, and it was either washed or whatever, and you put it away. That wasn't worn around anywhere, and you didn't wear your shoes outside. Your shoes, once you came home from school, your shoes were taken off, and I always remember what they were. Never jealous anyhow. We all got along. I can't remember any of us ever having any arguments or fights ever. No, really? Never. Because it was give and take, and we had a wonderful mother that had all the patience in the world, never raised her voice to us. We never had her ever move. She never did. And so we all just, I suppose we were all happy and went along.
With so many children and the various houses you lived in, you've mentioned two different ones.
Yeah.
How did you all fit in?
How did we all fit in? Yeah, you're interested. Well, I think we used to sleep in the double beds. There'd be 3 or 4 of us, 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. And so there might have been 3 or 4 bedrooms. See, there's 10, so that's 4 in one bed. Another double bed would be 8, and there'd be 2, perhaps in a single or something. And you slept. You played so hard that you slept so well. And there was no wirelesses and all your. I can see the light switches on a cord. Switch the light on the cord. And like those days, you shopped every day. You didn't keep food at West Ryde. Yes, and see, there used to be a rabbit man come round, and a fruiter, a fisherman, a butter, And your milkman came every morning with this, and you put your billy cans out, and he filled your billy can with milk, and